Hey, Positive Mindframe family. My name is Ebony. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Monday to you. It's beautiful here where I am at home. And I hope you guys have some spring weather coming soon your way. If it's cold, drop down in the chat where you're from. If you are in Texas where I am, it's nice and warm here. But if you are in those frigid cold temperatures, I'm sending love and warmth and sunshine your way, okay? All right, so welcome to the channel. It's so good to be back. I am battling of being consistent. So definitely give me your thoughts and prayers. I am trying to be more consistent. That is something I wanted to tackle this year, is consistency in almost everything that I do, because with consistency brings change and that brings influence. So I'm battling that, you guys, and I am doing my own research on how to remain consistent, not just on YouTube, but also in other areas of my life. It's difficult, especially if you develop habits like I have with distraction or self-doubt. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I am trying to acknowledge issues so I can change that. And that's kind of diving into what I do want to talk about today, is the cycle of starting over. So starting over is not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing, especially if you are in a cycle of always starting over or always being put in a position where you don't want to be in, or it's just a constant cycle of frustration and tiresome. So it's not a bad thing, but when you want something, you're going to get out of your own way and you're going to do what you need to do to get out of that cycle of always starting over. Number one, I know that life happens. Life happens to everyone. And so I know that could be a little hindrance. I'm not saying completely shutting off whatever you're trying to achieve, but I know that life can happen. And also, depending on the circumstances of your life, I know like mentally you're probably not in the best space to go after that certain goal or dream that you had in mind. So I feel like with the cycle starting over, I do want to kind of tackle goals. I am a person that roll over goals every year. Is it tiring sometimes? Absolutely, because I feel like I see the same goal that I wrote down, let's say in 2024, rolling over to 2025. And I don't like to do that a lot. Like usually, like I'm a person where if I plan something, I try to execute it as best to my ability. And sometimes in life, it doesn't happen, or just the timing of things just doesn't work out. Or if God says not right now, then, it is what it is. But I'm a person that roll over goals. Like if I didn't achieve it in 2024, I'm going to put it on 2025 because that's something that I truly want to achieve. Now, does it make me feel good? No, because it's like my goal was December 31st, 2024. How come I didn't do that? And then when I'm able to self-reflect on these goals, it's like, well, I did have time. I just didn't manage my time the best of my ability to achieve those goals and it to roll over to 2025. So like I said, this year I really do want to be consistent on all the goals that I do have set for myself. Now I am going to talk about the pros and the cons of starting over. Number one, I want to let you know as a little disclaimer that you are not a failure. As for me, even though I roll over goals, I have the mindset that I do want to achieve them. Even though I'm frustrated because why didn't I achieve it last year? But I want to let you know that you're not a failure. Starting over, I feel like, number one, waking up, and also, number one, waking up is a blessing in itself. So you do have the chance to make a wiser decision or Xing out any distractions that you may have in executing a particular goal. But I want to kind of disclaim that you're not a failure at all if you didn't achieve not one goal last year. Every day you wake up is a chance. Every day is a new day to pick a better decision. And every day is a chance to have a better opportunity with the right information. So I want to let you guys know that you are not a failure. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the pros. The pros of starting over is that you're able to acknowledge the problem. So let's say that, this year I've been doing really good with eating a lot better and working out because I want to be toned, okay? I don't want to be a little limp noodle. No, not at all. But I do want to be more toned. So though I had these goals every year, I had to acknowledge like I was not eating the best. I don't eat horribly, but can I take away some things here and there? Yes. Now, I am the type of body type that I have to go work out. And like, how I can just eat well and lose weight without working out? I love working out, but I have to acknowledge that for me and my body, I have to work out. So I have acknowledged, like, number one, I have to eat better. Number two, for me and my body type as of right now, I have to go work out. It is what it is. And no, I do not lose weight fast. I've lost weight. I've gained weight. It's part of it, but I had to acknowledge that for me and myself to achieve the goals that I want and also rolling over that goal every year, I have to go work out and eat better. Number two, I had to problem solve. Now, with me, going back to my fitness journey, now I'm eating better and I'm working out. Now, this whole calorie deficit thing, I feel like if it's just if God made it, I'm gonna just eat it. You know, probably have some little chatter in the comments right now. Hey, but for right now, that's what works for me. So I feel like problem solving is knowing what works for you. If you need to go on a calorie deficit, go on a calorie deficit. I'm sure there's science behind it, and that's great and wonderful. But me, no, I'm gonna eat lots of strawberries and lettuce and whole foods. There we go. I'm eating more whole foods. Take away a lot of processed food or fast food. So I know how to kind of manage on what I eat. Now, around the holidays, leave me alone that day. I'm going to have my dad's brisket, his mac and cheese, and I'm enjoy that one day. But problem solving, taking away less greasier foods and processed foods. No, I'm not doing a calorie deficit, but that's my problem solving for me and my body type, okay? All right. Now, identifying barriers. So this is number 3, identifying barriers. So with me and my fitness journey, I won't say weight loss journey because everybody has different goals. So me and my own fitness journey, I had to identify barriers. So number 1, I do have a membership, but in the days that I don't feel like going to the gym, I do have the option to work out at home. Now, for me, I absolutely hate working out at home because number 1, I feel comfortable. Number 2, I get easily distracted. So those are barriers. So I could be on my phone, I could be doing other things. I would rather clean than to work out at home. So that was a barrier. So I had to get myself out of the house. That's the barrier. Number 2, the way that I look. And I'm very, very comfortable in my body, that's the thing. But what I do want to change, that is a barrier for me. So it's like, okay, if I want these results, I have to go get a membership and work out, lift weights, which I absolutely love lift strength training. I love strength training. And also making sure I eat well and also I drink water. So I have to go, I think I forgot what I was talking about, guys. It's all right. Yeah. Okay, I'd rather clean this go at home. You guys bear with me, okay? All right, so being able to identify those barriers with my fitness journey. You guys, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna keep this in the video though, because I went blank and I have notes here. But anyway, yeah, so just with my body and how I feel, I have to go strength train for the results that I want to achieve. Lastly is to hone in on what you're doing. So I'm learning the power of schedules, routines, and habits. It is very difficult for me, but it won't be long. Just like every day you are disciplined enough to go to work, even when you don't feel like it. Every day you're going to eat, you're disciplined in eating every day. Every day, if you have a dog like I do, sometimes I don't want to take her out, but I have to do that because you're disciplined in that. And for me, being disciplined at least 3 to 4 times a week to go to the gym or to go work out, it's not hard. It's just me, depending on my day, adding it in there, because I feel like if I just randomly just throw it in there, it's like I'm scrambling for time to actually go work out. Now, do I have a set routine or schedule yet? I don't. But I do have to find something that works for me. And I do wake up early. So that kind of throws a little dagger in there because I'm a person, who likes to make sure I get adequate enough sleep so I'm able to function and to be alert and to talk to people. And that's just me. But some days, like, I feel like I have to squeeze in time for the gym. Me personally, I don't like that. And I do watch YouTube and I love YouTube. And there's people who have set schedules and routines. So while doing that, you're able to kind of hone in on what your goals are. So I have to hone in on things, even when they make me feel uncomfortable. But this is like my own fitness journey that I have to do in order to hone in on my goals. So I am acknowledging the problem. Like, hey, you want to be on this fitness journey? I'm gonna have to eat a little better, and also go work out for my body type. Number 2, I have to problem solve. Taking out processed food, eating less fast food because it's easier to go grab something to eat. Prices are getting too expensive now, so I don't mind cooking at home. Oh yeah, cook at home too. Cook at home, it's cheaper too. So I'm learning now the hard way, but we're gonna get there. So problem solve. See what needs to be taken away in order to get the solution that you want. Okay. Number 3 is to identify barriers. Number 1, I cannot work out at home. I have to go get a membership, or I go to the YMCA. So those are things I have to do in order for me not to work out at home. So remember, the pros to starting over is that you are acknowledging the problem, you're problem solving, identifying barriers, and you're able to hone in on what you are doing. So it's like you're mastering. You know how people say you are mastering your craft or you're perfecting your craft? I feel like that kind of falls under there. So those are the pros to starting over. Now, the cons of starting over, and I have notes here. If I look down, that is why. The negatives of starting over is that you're in a constant state or a cycle of frustration. And like I said earlier, it's kind of like what people say in school or at home. Is, if you keep repeating the same thing, it's insanity. And do you ever find yourself insane if you're going through the same thing? Like nothing is broken, like nothing is changing unless you're going to do something about it or you're going to change the outcome of it. So let's say that you are constantly in a cycle of, let's say, money wise, I'll just say debt. So then that means that something is a balancing. So either that you're not so great at money management or you just don't make enough income. Now, have we all had our little money woes? Yes. But if it's a cycle of poor management, then that's going to be the outcome. That's going to be the cycle. Unless you start tackling some things. So especially with money, fitness, anything to your well-being, if it's a cycle of just bad habits, naturally you're going to be frustrated and tired. And that's just us. I feel like that's just a root thing in us to kind of feel in order to break out of this thing, not only for you, but also for your family or for your legacy. So if that cycle can be stopped with you, why not break it? So I feel that kind of really digs deep, at least with me, as now I'm older. I see a lot of things how you can be in your own way of your own well-being or to being the best of your highest self or your best self. Now, am I 100% perfect? Absolutely not. Okay, no, not at all, not by a long shot. But I feel like as we go through these cycles, number 1, you're more knowledgeable on how to get out of that cycle. If like a family member or someone else is able to come up to you with that problem and you're able to help them solve it so they won't go through the same things that you're going through. But also I feel like it's a family legacy thing too, or maybe that's something that has been in your generation for many, many decades and now it's hitting you and now you're at the point of frustration and now like I need to break off this thing so it won't get passed down to my kids. So just the cycle of frustration that could be like a make or break situation. I do encourage you to break it. And I'm speaking to myself as well. So that could be, that to me, that's a negative that could be turned into a positive. Positive thinking, positive mind frame. Get into it. Okay, distraction or lack of discipline. Like I said earlier, I am not the best with discipline. I'm working on it, and I feel like this fitness journey is helping me see a lot of things, or even just going to work every day. Kind of like with the example that I use for money. If you are frivolously spending every single day, or I've learned that of habit spending. So let's say you work at Dillard's and they have a clearance every day. So out of your money every day is going to go to Dillard's. So that could be a lack of discipline there. So that can also create the frustration of you always checking your bank account. That can also create a cycle of bad money management, depending on, hey, I mean, if you got it, you got it. Okay, don't let me tell you anything different. But that can create a cycle of frivolous spending from $2 to $5, $5 to $10, $10 to $30, and so on and so forth. So the cycle of starting over and you're not having the discipline to overcome it, that can really leave you stuck, and that will continue the cycle of frustration. Okay, get some discipline. You too, Ebony. I'm talking to myself too. All right. Also, number 3, not getting the right information. Now, I know there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's which one should I go to? Well, me too. Instagram. There's a whole bunch of tips. There's a whole bunch of information that's out there. I feel like those are great. I do feel like sometimes it can be better to go to a professional too, just because a lot of information is thrown at you. But if you don't have the right information, you won't be able to tackle the cycle of starting over too. And also to break that cycle of tiredness and frustration. So I'll say, even invest yourself, even if you have to go to a seminar, paying for a webinar. I've paid for webinars and seminars too. Those are really great. That is a great step to getting the right information that you need for yourself and for the goal you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to be debt free, go to somebody who's debt free, or talk to someone about financial management, like I have. And my dad, he's great with financial management too. So I have someone in my family, but also I saw outside my family too, and it's been great. There are some things I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But I had to figure out ways that benefited me in my situation. So definitely seek out the right resources. Don't be afraid to ask people, even at your job, if you feel comfortable. Or just Google some people, or maybe just listen to a YouTube thing, and maybe that kind of open up the door for the right person that you want to kind of invest your time and money into listening. Now, a lot of things like YouTube and TikTok and stuff, they do give out some free information, but I feel like a lot of information is hidden. So definitely invest the time and the money into yourself to break out of this cycle. Now, lastly, my favorite thing to say, and it kind of coincides in what I'm saying, or what I said in the beginning, is that do not have the mindset of being a failure. Everybody goes through things. Everybody has self-doubt. Like I said earlier, I have self-doubt a lot that I'm noticing about myself. It's just not giving myself a chance to actually pursue this thing full head on. Kind of like this YouTube video. Or just my YouTube in general. Like I have a goal, and it's like if it's not there by overnight, like I feel like I'm just done. And that's just me being honest and being transparent. You're not a failure for starting over. Like I said, every day or every moment that you're breathing is an opportunity to start over. I don't want you to feel that whatever you didn't accomplish in 2024, that they're null and void this year. Number 1, you woke up for a reason. Number 2, you have a purpose here. And number 3, you have those goals and those desires for a certain reason. It could be for yourself. It could be for your family. It could be for a generational curse that needs to be broken. I want you to remember your why. But you're not a failure just because you didn't reach certain goals. You can start today. You can start tomorrow. But you do have to have the right information to tackle these goals. Just take baby steps. Mind you, I'm doing YouTube videos. I don't know how to edit right. I'm probably speaking loud to you in the microphone right now, but guess what? I took a step, right? And of course, this is not my first video, but I have not put years in this paint into YouTube. I haven't. But will I? Yes. Am I going to invest in myself to make sure I get the edits and stuff right? Yes. So just kind of learn from me and just take the first step. Remember, the first time you do anything is more than likely not going to be perfect. But I don't want you to feel like you're a failure just because you did not, like those goals from last year rolling over to this year, it didn't work out. But starting over and giving up on yourself, I just want you to make sure that that's not an option. Because you're here for a reason. And I need you. We need you. I don't know what types of gifts are instilled in you, but I just don't want you to give up. So you're not a failure for starting over. Like I said, starting over to my fitness journey is a frustrating, yes. But I need to hold myself accountable to make sure I get it done some way, some form, or some fashion. So I say this to say that it's okay to start over. You're not a failure. You're more than enough. And seek the right information because we all need you and the world needs you. So on that note, you are loved, you are valued, and you are enough. And I'll check you next week for sure. I'm going to get myself together, okay? All right, we are in this together. You're not alone. You have a good Monday.